Apologies for any car sounds you might hear. Obviously, I'm in my car. And while this car drives silently, the air conditioner is not silent. What I wanted to talk about in this video is the concept of sovereignty, of making decisions and moving in a way that's independent of others' way of moving, their beliefs surrounding how you move, how people move, and what they think it's going to look like after. If there's one thing I hate, it's when people give advice or guidance from a place of matter-of-factness, from a place of, oh yeah, just do this and you'll be fine, without explaining the machinations behind it, and most importantly, without being cognizant or considerate of the individual that is receiving the advice. Thinking about where that person might be, let's say emotionally, for them to even watch that self-help video, to even seek out guidance for their situation. Like, you're over here making a video about narcissistic abuse and you're like all chill and, acting like, oh yeah, just walk away. Like, this person is trying to, this person needs help. And they're probably not regulated. They're probably not in a good mindset, a good state. So anyway, because I hate that, I'm not going to do that to you. So first off, reasons why you want to make moves without telling anybody. The first, and this is bigger than people might think, is projections. When you tell someone something you want to do or are going to do, as it is with anything that is communicated to anyone, it is going to be received through the filter of that person's lived experiences and beliefs. I'll give you a quick example. If you say, I want to be in the NBA, or I'm going to train to be in the NBA, and you're talking to your best friend who hoops with you, first thing that they're going to do is they're going to think back to when they were training to be in the NBA, they were unable to do it, it was too hard, or they got an injury or something happened, and they determined that it's an unrealistic dream. They're not necessarily a hater by giving you a recounting of their experience, or even by saying that that thing is unattainable or too hard. There doesn't have to be maliciousness behind it. All they're simply doing is going off of what they know, which is all any of us ever really can do. And you just have to be careful to not internalize that, because when somebody says this is unrealistic or this is too hard, you have to silently in your mind add to them or to you. So when they say, oh yeah, no, like people like us that, where we grew up and all that, we can't make it to the NBA. The way that you should hear that sentence is, I was unable to make it to the NBA because I felt limited by our upbringing or whatever. But you are not them. Not only do you have completely different skills, experience, knowledge, support systems, you clearly also, at least for that present moment, have a different perspective. And that by itself can sometimes be enough to be the reason why you succeed where they failed. You still believe it's possible. They got to a place where they stopped believing it was possible. In summary, the variables are just all different. So it's kind of like completely irrelevant, really, what their experience was or why they think that you can't do whatever you want to do. And the bigger message that I'm trying to convey is, instead of having to do all of that cognitive work, just don't tell them. Just don't tell people. That restructuring sentence thing, that's advanced. That's later. That's when you are already very secure in your sovereignty and in your decisions that you make, where you can tell people and you do it probably expecting that they're going to push back, and you still do it anyway. You don't let it affect what you do or how you do it. So yeah, if you're not there yet, the safer thing is just don't tell people. Number two has nothing to do with people. It's internal. Psychologically, when you announce that you are going to do something, our brains struggle to perceive time, past, present, future, which is why trauma can affect you even if something happened years and years and years ago to you. In the same way, the brain hears that thing talked about and then thinks, we did it, we're done. And so then the effect that has on you is loss of motivation. That's the biggest thing. That's obviously will kill something in its tracks. And then the third thing is kind of a question for yourself. Why do you feel the need to tell them in the first place? And maybe you've already asked yourself that question. So I'll just give an example reason for why someone might feel the need to announce something they want to do or are going to do. You might be telling someone because you are looking for permission or validation. It is a completely natural human thing, due to us being wired for connection and community, to want to be validated by others, to want to know that the decisions that we make seem logical or righteous from a perspective that's not just our own. And first, I want to say, congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back, because if that is your reason for telling someone, that displays a lack of ego. You don't want to feel like you know what's best, or that you're the smartest person in the room, or that you are the most qualified person in the room. One thing I will push back against that, though, is that yes, you do know what's best for you. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. So give yourself some grace for seeking counsel, for asking for help. That's another thing to pat yourself on the back for. You're not trying to be reckless or blindly make a decision. And you probably want to make sure that there's not something about that decision that you're not seeing. But even with all that said, it's still better to not tell people with the types of decisions that I'm talking about in this video. Again, people can only speak from their own experience. If you really must tell someone about something that you want to do or are going to do, I'm not saying that you 100% have to make every move in silence all the time ever. The reframe, the way to handle that, if you definitely feel like you should seek counsel, is to seek it from someone who was already successful in the thing that you want to do. Easy example. You have a failing marriage, but you think that the love is still there on both ends and that with the right amount of, I don't know, communication or solutions, wherever that those may be, your marriage could get back on track. Now ask yourself, if you go and you tell your disgruntled, divorced best friend who's constantly venting about their narcissistic ex that you want to reconcile with your spouse, what do you think they're going to say? What do you think that they're going to believe? And it's not even always a crabs in a barrel thing. It can just be, again, that person has those limiting beliefs, you know, that their marriage failed, so marriage just doesn't work. Marriage is hard, and, you know, nobody should get married, or men or women, whoever they were dating, all suck. If you instead know someone who has had a similar situation, and obviously the more similar to your particular situation, the better counsel you'll receive, you're going to come out of that conversation probably feeling more empowered and more encouraged than you were already feeling when you first told them. On the other hand, telling that other friend in the example, all you're going to end up is fragmented. You're going to have a lot of doubts now. You're going to, if not have new doubts, you're going to be reinforcing those doubts you already had. And those doubts were already the reason why you sought counsel in the first place. You see, the more that you act in sovereignty and you make decisions individually and you see success from those decisions, the more confidence you will have that you are capable of making good decisions. And so then you'll find yourself reaching for that validation or that permission a lot less often, just naturally. And one thing I want to add, I still sometimes feel unsure. I still sometimes want to know that I'm making the right decision, that I'm not alone in my feelings, my conviction for whatever that is, that I'm not delusional to think that it can work out the way that I want it to. Those are all natural feelings to have. And so I implore you, as I am also telling myself by telling you, to give yourself grace in that. Catch yourself, ideally before you blab, and then try to just move forward with that decision. If you got to the place where you had the conviction to want to do it in the first place, chances are that it's because you know that there is a non-0% chance of success. Yes, it can go wrong, it can go terribly, you can fail, but if the chance of success is non-zero, then all that means is that it's also possible that it goes great, that the reason why you wanted to do that in the first place gets confirmed and validated after you achieve that success. So move forward with confidence and with patience for yourself, and most importantly, with the knowledge that even if you do fail, even if it doesn't work out, you will gain something from it, because that goal might not have been reached or that thing might not have been obtained, but what you gain from it is additional self-confidence, additional boost to your sovereignty. The knowing that you are able to make decisions and walk forward and be brave enough to try something that was risky. And I don't think I've made this clear. I am always open to any questions about anything I say in my videos. Just drop a comment, I will probably respond to it. It could be frustrated feedback where you're like, well, this was worded so difficult to follow or something. And I will probably try to look at it from a place of openness and do my best to help bridge the communication gap. With that being said, as always, I hope this helps someone. Until next time, may the source be with you.